Today's story is called The New Friend by Maria Punzel. Illustrations by Ed Martinez. As I read the story today, boys and girls, I want you to think about the characters in the story. I want you to think about the characters' feelings, their actions, and their words. What do the characters say to each other? How do they feel? What do they do? What can we learn about the characters based on their words, their actions, and their feelings? And this is a realistic fiction story. It's a story that could happen in real life. You will see characters who act like real people and events that could really happen. The New Friend. The story, boys and girls, these boys have a new friend, and he comes from another country. That makes me think about our classroom, because in our classrooms, we often have students who come from another country. What can you learn from someone who is from another country? Martin, Lewis, and I lived in the city. Next door was an old house. No one had lived there for a long time. One day, a work crew came with pails and brushes. They started to wash and paint the empty house. So who is the narrator? Who is telling the story? I believe it's one of these boys. How are the boys feeling right now? They notice that people are working on the old house. To me, it seems like they're excited about somebody new moving into their neighborhood. After they were done and the paint had dried, the house looked pretty and new. The next day, a big truck pulled up. It was full of crates and boxes. A crew unloaded the boxes off the truck. A new family would soon live here. I'm looking at the boys. Again, they seem to be kind of excited, perhaps curious. Who is moving into this house? Will there be another boy to play with? Today, Lewis went over to the house next door. He met a boy called Makoto. Then we all met Makoto. Makoto was 7 years old, just like us. How do you think the boys felt when they realized that a new boy had moved in and he was the same age as them? How would you feel? I bet they feel happy. I bet they feel excited. Before long, we found out that Makoto played soccer. He could keep running and running. He was good at learning things too. He learned all of our names by the end of the game. How do you think Makoto feels? I can imagine if I was a boy and I had moved to a new neighborhood, how I would feel the first time I made some friends. I bet Makoto is feeling welcomed. I bet he's feeling happy to be there. Soon Makoto's family was all moved in. We met his mother and father. They were glad that Makoto had made some new friends. Again, I'm thinking about the mom and dad here. Being a dad myself, I know how I feel when I see my children playing with new friends. I bet they feel proud of their son. I bet they're happy that he found some friends to play with. While Makoto's mother and father went to buy food, Makoto stayed and played with us. When Makoto's mother and father rejoined us, Martin, Makoto, and I helped them carry the bags into the house. Makoto said he would show us around his house. Then we went up to look at Makoto's room. Makoto still had a lot of boxes to unpack. He had some nice toys and kites. He said that on the next windy day, we could bring his kites outside and fly them. He said I could fly a kite by myself. Then we went outside to look at Makoto's pictures from Japan. He had them in a green book. So again, we've learned something else, boys and girls, about Makoto, one of the characters in the story. We learned that his family comes from Japan. I bet Makoto feels proud of the pictures of his family when he was in Japan. I bet he's proud to show them to his new friends. On the first page, we saw Makoto's old house in Japan. On the next page, we saw Makoto's family in Japan. The last page had pictures of Makoto's friends. They showed Makoto's 7th birthday party. Makoto said he wishes we could meet his old friends. At this point, boys and girls, I bet Makoto feels a little bit sad. As much as he is happy to have his new friends in his new town, I bet looking at the pictures of his old friends made him miss them a little bit. At the end of the day, Makoto's mother and father repaid us for helping with cookies. We said please and thank you and ate up. Makoto's father said he had a new job in the city. Makoto would be going to our school. We were all glad about that. So let's think about the characters again. What are Makoto's parents like? They seem nice. They seem friendly. They shared some cookies with the boys. They also seemed thankful for the boys' help, which is why they shared the cookies. How do you think the boys feel, knowing that Makoto is going to their school? I bet they feel excited. I bet they're happy. We said goodbye to Makoto and his mother and father. Then we went home to our families. We were glad to have a new friend next door.